We are live. Hi everyone, welcome back to Codera. Welcome back to Geeks for Geeks practice. Today in this video, we'll be discussing the problem of the day (GFG) for 22nd of January. The name of the problem is distinct palindromic substrings, and this problem is rated as a hard problem. Although I find it to be a medium hard problem, not exactly a hard problem. And the accuracy level for this particular problem is 72%. The number of submissions for this particular problem are 7,000 plus, and the number of points awarded for this particular problem are 8. Previously, this particular problem has been asked in organizations like you can say LinkedIn, Make My Trip, and Ola Cabs. So quickly consider giving me a +1 in the chat if my voice is audible to everyone and you can hear me, so that we can start right away. And also consider liking the video if everything is working fine, and if you'll give a +1 in the chat, then we'll start right away. And let me know in the comments that how many of you have tried to solve this particular problem as well. Okay, I can see a lot of people are joining in, so please consider giving a quick +1 in the chat so that we can begin ahead. Hi Aryan. Right, so we'll be starting with this problem. I'll just wait for your +1s in the chat. All of you please like the video and please give us a +1 in the chat so that we can begin as soon as possible. Right, so this particular problem is you have to count first of all what is a palindrome, right? What is a palindrome? This is the thing. What is a palindrome? A palindrome is a string that reads the same from left to right and right to left. Okay, if I say A, B and A, right, if I am saying that there is a string A, B, A, then that particular string, this particular string is reading the same from the left. Okay, from the left to right it is reading as ABA. From right to left, if I am checking from right to left, so it is reading as ABA as well, right? So that's why what I'll say for this particular string is that this particular string is a substring. If I had a string, let's say substring as Baba, right? Let's say Baba, which is very famous. So this particular substring is this particular string is not a palindrome. Why? Because from left to right it reads as BABA, and from right to left it reads as ABAB, right? So this is not a substring. This was a substring, ABA was a substring, BABA is not a substring, right? Can we take some more cases? Yes, we can take. Let's say we have a substring that is madam, right? So if we have a substring that is madam, or we have a string that is madam, so from left to right, so this means what? This means MADAM, and from right to left as well it is MADAM. So this is also a palindrome, right? This is also a palindrome. If this much part of the definition of the palindrome is clear, you can just consider giving a quick +1 in the chat, right? Now the thing is that you have been given a string. Okay, you have been given a string, and what you have to do is you have to count the number of distinct palindromic substrings in that string, right? I'll be telling you, just let me write this. What do I mean by that? So is up till now everything is clear to all of you? Like in this particular case, if you will observe, so this is A, B and AAA, right? So let's write this case. So if you have A, then B, then A. So what will happen in this particular case? Can I say that one of the substrings that will be there is A, right? Another substrings that will be there is AB, another substring is ABA, right, like this. Then another substring could be AB, A and A. Another substring that we could have is AB, A and A. So is this the number of substrings that we can have, or we can have more number of substrings? What's the situation? Can you tell us? We'll be having more substrings, right? We'll be having more substrings. Like what we can say is that these are the substrings, but also like let me show you. It says that you have to find all the substrings, palindromic substrings in this particular string, and you have to take account of this, and they should be unique, right? So in this A individually is a substring, right? A individually, this thing is a substring in itself. Then AA, like this particular substring, let's say, is a substring in itself. You can also say that this AA is also substring, but that it's still like this particular thing has to be unique, so you will not count AA twice. Then AAA is also a substring, right? more what, Abhinav? What do you mean by that? Yeah, there will be more substrings, right? This is what I'm trying to say. Like there will be BAA, there will be BA as well, like things like these, right? So A is one of the substrings. A is one substring which is palindromic, right? So let me write the palindromic substrings with green color. So A is one of the substrings which is palindromic because it reads the same from left to right and right to left. Then ABA is also one of the substrings which reads the same from left to right and right to left. Then also double A is also a substring which reads the same from left to right and right to left. Then triple A is also a substring which reads the same from left to right and right to left. Is there any other substring that we have here that reads the same? Yes, there is another substring, that is this substring B. Like you have made this AB, but you also need to treat B individually. So B is also one such substring which is palindromic, that reads the same from left to right and right to left. Okay, so there are 5 options in this. Now you would say that in this particular string there are 2 types of substrings, like there's AA. Like if you take these two, there is AA. If you take the last 2 A's, then there is AA. So in this case, you will count, you have to give the count of the unique substrings, right? Unique palindromic substrings. So that is why you will consider AA only once, and for that we can use a set, like so that we can keep a count of unique substrings, or we can also map it, like that depends on us, right? If the problem statement is clear to everyone, please write clear in the chat. If up till now whatever I have taught is the problem statement is clear to everybody, so please let me know in the chat. Please let me know in the chat if the problem statement is clear to everyone, right? Now the thing is that first of all, how to generate, first thing is that, okay, you will check the substrings, that is perfect, right? Also please like the video if you are have just joined. So what you have to do is you have to first of all generate all the substrings. Okay, you have to generate all the substrings from given string S, right? From given string S. From this given string S, you have to generate all the substrings, right? So what you will do, once you will say that, okay, this is my substring, then this is also one of the substrings, right? Then you will say that, okay, ABA is also substring, like this. A, then AB, then ABA, like this. Then you move to these 3 characters. So AB and AAA, right? Then AB, AAA, like this. So this much. Then you will say that, okay, B is a substring, right? Let me change the color of the pen. Yeah, so you will say that, okay, B is a substring. Then you will say, okay, BA is also a substring, things like these. Okay, so what is the total number of substrings that I can generate with a given string? Can someone let me know that particular thing? What is the total number of substrings that I can have? Total number of substrings that I can have. First of all, I need to generate all the substrings. So can someone let me know what is the total number of substrings that I can have? Anyone would like to let me know this part? I'll be letting you know, but if you still have, like, if you know, then let me know, like, what is the total number of substrings? Okay, so you know that you will be generating these substrings, that part is clear. But the thing is that how to generate all these substrings that I am trying to generate. So for this, what you can do is, can I say that I can start a loop I from 0 and I is lesser than n, and then I do an I plus plus, and after that what do? I start a j starting from I, j is lesser than n, and I simply do a j plus plus, right? And after this, like I said na, like I is 0, then j, if I is 0, j is 0, then you have a. If I is 0, like I is 0 and j is like I is 0 and then j is 1, right? J is 1. In that case, you will have AB. If I is 0 and j is what? If j is 2. So in that case, you will have ABA, right? Can you see that how we are generating the substrings? Like this. Basically, you keep I here and then you keep j here. So this is A. Then you move your j to here, I is fixed, so AB. Then you move j here, so this is ABA. Then you move j here, so this is ABA, right? Like this. I hope that this much part is clear, right? So that is why what you could do is like you have a function, that is, you can say sub str with you, like sub str, or you like it can have different names, but you must be having this like you will basically be, what you will be doing is you will have different functions in different languages, but the working will be the same. You just take out that substring that starts from I and ends at J, right? Like this. If I is this and J is this, so you just take out these substrings. So one thing is that you generate all these substrings, right? These two loops will help us in generating all these substrings, and then you check whatever substrings you get that starts from I and ends at J. You check for all these substrings that whether this is a palindrome or not, right? Now you check for this particular substring which is starting from I and J, you check that whether this is a palindrome or not, right? So can I say that this particular loop, that is outer loop, will take order of n time? This particular outer loop will take order of n time because it is running from 0 to n. This particular loop, inside loop, will starts from j is equal to I, j is lesser than n. It also takes order of n time, right? To generate, to find, like these two loops together will help us to find all the substrings as we have discussed. Now the thing is that one more thing that you need to notice is these two loops will help you to generate all the substrings which such that a particular string starts from the index I and ends at the index j. This much part must be clear. But once you have that particular substring, let's say you have ABA or you have ABAA, things like these, once you have these substrings which starts at I and ends at j, you need to check whether they are palindrome or not. And for doing that, you will traverse the complete length of the substring, right? You will be traversing the complete length of the substring. So that is why to check if this is a palindrome or not, so that palindrome checking function, because you will be checking, right, for each index, so that will also take order of n time. So overall time complexity would be nothing but order of n into n into n. That is nothing but order of n cube in the worst case. Is this part clear to everybody? That first of all you need to generate all the substrings, then you also, and for doing that you are taking order of n squared time. But to check that whether each generated substring is a palindrome or not, you will make a function palindrome, or you will simply write a loop for that. So it will also take order of n time because you will check for the length of the string, right? For the length of that particular string in the worst case. So that's why it will be order of n cube. Is this much part clear to everyone? Please consider giving us a quick +1 in the chat if this much part is clear to everyone, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? Why it's order of n cube? Please write clear in the chat, right? Anurag Gupta is saying clear. What about you, Aman? What about you, Garvit, Abhinav, Saurabh, Aryan? All of you just let me know in the comments, and I can see a lot of people have joined. Please consider liking the video as well so that it can reach as many people as possible, right? Is this much part clear to everybody, right? I hope it is. If it is clear, so please consider giving a quick +1 in the chat, right? Now the thing is that, okay, perfect. Now the thing is that, let's say you have something like this. Let's say you have a string that is madam, right? Let me write all of them in smaller letters. Okay, great, Garvit, it's clear. I mean, of all others also let me know in the chat, right? Let's say you have a string that is madam. So for this particular string, if I generate all the substrings, I know it will take order of n squared time to generate all the substrings. For checking each substring that whether it is a palindrome or not, it will take order of n time. So overall, I have concluded that it will take order of n cube time. Now, can I do something better than this? Now let me discuss one of the cases, one of the sub cases, one of the things, right, that can happen, that might happen. Okay. That let's say you are checking this particular substring, right? Let's say you check A, D and A, and you check M, A, D, A, M. So both of them are palindrome, right? Both of them are palindrome. But is there any relation between the two? Is there any relation between ADA and MADAM? Is there any relation between the two strings? If someone new has joined, you can like the video. Is there any relation between the two strings, ADA and MADAM? Is there any relation between the two? Is there any relation between the two? If I say that, now the thing is that if you are checking for all the n square strings that you have generated, for all the strings, if you are iterating to it and checking, it will take order of n time. So overall n cube time. But is it possible that I don't need to, like, that means if it is order of n cube, then I am doing some repetitive task. Right, repetitive task. What is the repetitive task that I am doing here? Hi Vanshika Kapoor. What's the repetitive task that I am doing here? If I have already checked it, for ADA, do I need to check this much part again? If ADA is palindrome, right? If I know that the substring ADA is palindrome, in that case, do I need to check for do I need to check this complete string? or I should check for just this part. I should check, like I must be knowing that ADA is a palindrome, so that's why I should be checking for these two characters, right? If let's suppose there was X here, so I should be checking for these, and since these two are not equal, so I'll say not palindrome. But if this was M, then in that case I would have said that okay, this is palindrome, right? Are you understanding this, right? Both are palindrome, but you can observe this, right? That if you have checked for ADA, like I'm just talking about an example, right? I'm talking just a simple example, that if you know that ADA is a substring, then do you need to check complete MADAM? No, because you will be knowing that ADA is already a substring, so that's why you just need to check for this character and this character, right? This particular right character and this particular left character. If these two are also palindrome, or like if these two are equal, like you will just, instead of comparing the complete strings every time, you can just simply check for this character and this character, because you already know that this is a substring, right? Now also one more thing, let's say that, let's forget this example, right? Let's say you have X, Y, and let's say Y, right? If a string like this is there for you, so if you have X, Y, and let's say you have something like X, Y, and you have here you have Z and Z. So now if you know that this particular substring is not palindrome, right? I'm just talking about some instances that might be happening inside. So if this is not a palindrome, so this will also not be a palindrome, right? You don't need to check for this particular these two particular cases, right? Because even if they are equal, so internal this substring is not equal, right? So that's why that will never be a palindrome. So in this case, what I'm doing, I am just trying to minimize my repetitions, right? Can I say that I can reduce the repetitive task, right? My task would be to reduce the repetitions, repeated checking that I need to reduce, right? If this much part is clear, consider giving a quick +1 in the chat, and then I'll move forward, right? Is this much part clear to everybody, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? If this much part is clear, so please consider giving a quick +1 in the chat, and like the video if someone new has joined, right? I hope that this much part is clear. Is it clear to everyone? I hope that it is, right? So what I would be doing is, like, I can use the concept of dynamic programming, right? Whenever you have a situation that you have already, you can see like this is overlapping sub problem. If MAD is there and MADAM is there, right? Just taking some example. So if ADA is already calculated, for ADA I know that whether it's a palindrome or not, so I'll just check for these two characters instead of checking for the complete string. So what does dynamic programming do? It helps us to, like, already calculated sub problems don't need to be calculated again, right? This much part is overlapping, right? So that's why I just need to check for these characters, right? This is the advantage that I have with dynamic programming. So I can use dynamic programming concept here. Like what I could do is I could simply say that if like ADA is there, right? If ADA is there, just taking some example, right? If I and J are lying here, if this is palindrome, then I need to check for only this character, right? I hope that this much part is clear. What's the concept behind using the dynamic programming? Another thing is how to do this, right? So I hope, let me show you the code part, like how I've implemented it. I'll be also running it a little bit, right? So what I will be doing in this particular thing, I hope that this much part is clear. So initially I'll be having a DP function, a 2D DP, in which like I and J, DP of state is ij, right? DP state is I and J. So that's why I'll be declaring a 2D DP, vector of vector int, which will be of size n, and the DP will be initialized. All the indexes of the DP ij, the 2D DP, would be initialized to -1. After that, this is the first loop that I'll be starting, as I told you. This is the second loop j that I'll be starting from I. J is lesser than n. These two loops would help me to generate all the substrings. Now the substring is what? The substring is I and J, right? The substring is a string. Like substring is what? Substring is the string which is starting at I and ending at the index j, right? This is what's happening. This is what is happening, right? So what I would say is, yeah, this is memoization, right? This is top-down approach. What I would say is, if there is just one single character, if my I is equal to j, if there is one just single character, in that case, is this a substring? Is this a substring? If my I is equal to j, if my I is equal to j, is this a substring? Yes, it is, right? So I'll return true, or I will return 1 for it. If let's say if I have some I, Okay, I'm saying that there is an index I, there is an index j, but I'll be shifting the indexes. I'll be moving my index I, I'll be incrementing each time by 1, and I'll be decrementing my j by 1. So if my I and j cross, if this, like I am assuming that the substring is starting from I, it is ending at j. So if it happens that after some incrementations of I and after some decrementations in j, if my j comes here and I comes here, then this is not a substring, right? This is not a substring, right? Because if my I am assuming that the substring is starting from I and ending at j, so this is one of the situations in which that will not be a substring. So basically, if I and j are equal, then I'll say that okay, that will be a string, right? That will be a substring. But if I and j cross each other, in that case it won't be, right? If it happens that I is greater than j, if at any point of time I is greater than j, in that case it will never be a substring, right? Because I'm saying that our substring would start from I and end at j, right? If there is only I and j are same, so that means one character, so that's why I'll return true for it. Now let's move back to the code. Now what I'm saying is that if my I is greater equal to j, right? If I is greater equal to j, I am returning 1. Basically you can say that if there is just one character, I'm returning 1. Okay, this is what I'm doing. If it happens that my I and j substring is not equal to -1, right? If I have a situation, let's say MAM like this, okay? If I have some I here and if I have some j here, right? So if this string is already calculated, in that case dp of ij would be 1. If this string is already marked as a palindrome, right? So it will be marked as 1. So it will be marked in the dp table, it will be marked as 1. And if it is marked as 1, so that means it would not be dp of ij, current dp of ij will not be equal to -1, because initially I have made it as -1. But if a particular substring starting from I ending at j is already calculated, in that case it would not be equal to -1. And if it's not equal to -1, then since I have already calculated it, so I can directly return whether that particular substring is a substring or not, right? If I can directly return dp of ij. Now as I told you that I am passing my ith and jth character, right? So basically I am passing ith and jth character here, you can see, right? Things like this. So what does that mean? So if my ith character is not equal to the jth character, right? If my ith character is not equal to the jth character, like let's suppose that situation is something like this. Let's say you have a d a and you have x and y here, right? Let me write it again. Okay, is this much part clear to everyone? Please let me know in the comments. Please give me a +1 in the chat if everything up till now is clear to everyone, right? So if you have this particular character and this particular character, if this is the ith character, this is the jth character, if these two are not the same, in that case I will say that okay, this particular string which is starting at I and ending at j, I'll mark it as 0, indicating that this particular substring starting at I and ending at j is not a palindrome, right? So I'm marking it as 0. So next time if I encounter this particular substring anywhere else in the string, so I'll not check it completely, because I'll see that my dp of ij like for this particular string would already be checked, and it would not be -1, it would be 0. So I'll return 0 if it is not a palindrome, this would return 0 if it's not a palindrome, and it would return a 1 if it's a palindrome, right? This which part must be clear. Now the thing is that you are doing this recursively. So what you are doing, you are finding it for the dp of ij. For the dp of ij, you are checking it. So you are passing this function again, like you are calling this function recursively. So what you are doing, if it happens that my ith and the jth character are the same, if my ith and the jth character are the same, in that case what would happen? Like if it happens that I and j I am checking, so if I have checked for it, so I'll check for I plus 1 and j minus 1, right? I'll check for I plus 1 and j minus 1, as I told you, like my I plus 1 and j plus 1, right? I would be moving towards the right direction, j would be moving towards the left direction, right? I would be checking for this and this. That's why my input would get reduced, so that eventually my in recursive I have to make my input smallest, right? So that's why at one point I would be equal to j, and then after that at some time I would be greater than j, right? If this much part is clear, please write clear in the chat. Please give me a +1 in the chat if this much part is clear, right? So that's the thing about this particular problem. So basically you are passing the palindrome function for I plus 1 and j minus 1, so that you can check that whether it's that or not. Now the thing is that now you will say that okay, that is fine. But what about this particular test case, a b a a a? right? Here you have two substrings which are A, right? This substring and this substring, right? You have thanks a lot Garvit, like Aman, Garvit, Abhinav, Anurag, all of you please tell me in the chat whether the problem now is clear or not, right? Please write clear in the chat. Now you have two substrings, right? You have the same substring, so you here also you have AA, and from here also you have A. And what does the problem say? Let's read the problem. Problem says that you have to find distinct palindromic substrings. So that means that these two are same, these two are palindrome, but you will not count repetitively, right? You will not count them repetitively. So what would you do? You will not count them repetitively. So what you will do is you will have a set, or you have a map in which you will be saying that if you have counted A, right, if you have A already present as a if you have a set, or if you have a map which is already having A, and in that set if you insert A again, so A would remain only one time. So that's why, since you want to return all the unique substrings, like as many number of times as you insert A, it will still remain A, right? It would still be present there for one time only, right? So that's why it's all the unique substrings would be present that are palindromic. So in the end you just return set.size, or you can say st.size, and that would be the number of substrings, right? Instead of set you can also use a map or an unordered map as well, right? So that's the thing about this particular question. If it's clear, please consider giving a +1 in the chat, and please write clear in the chat, right? I hope that this particular problem is clear to everyone. Now the thing is, are we not checking all the strings? We are checking it, but the thing is that the time complexity for checking the strings, like I am talking about checking the palindromes. So earlier it was order of n cube, but now it will not be order of n cube, it would be order of n square. And if you are using a set data structure, so it would be adding a log n factor extra. But if you are using an unordered map, or if the strings are not very much large size, in that case it would be very much near to order of n square, right? So that's the thing that I wanted to tell you about this question. Since it's asking that you have to find the number of all the unique substrings, so that's why you have to use a map or a set, unordered map, or you can use a set, right? If it's clear, please write crystal clear in the chat, or please write clear in the chat, right? So this problem was, as I told you, this problem was previously, like, let me submit my code for this particular problem, and I'll also be showing you my code so that you can take a screenshot of it and try to implement it as well. So you can see that this code is getting submitted. Now I'll just open it. So this is my code. You can just I'm just opening this screen, so you can just consider taking a quick screenshot of this particular screen. Let me reduce the size a little bit. Okay, you can just consider if you want to keep it for memory, like if you want to access the code, so you can just take the screenshot of this particular thing, and like you will be able to access it clearly, the photo, or you can write the code and submit it, right? This is nothing but I'm generating all the substrings, right? I'm checking for all the substrings, right? So this is what I'm doing. I'm in the set, I'm storing all the substrings, right? And the implementation of the substring function might differ from language to language. Okay, so this was the problem, and it, as I told you, that this particular problem was asked in organizations like LinkedIn, Make My Trip, Ola Cabs, and I guess many others as well. Let me see. Give us a moment. So this was the problem of the day for today. For yesterday, the problem of the day for today is rearrange a string, and this question has been asked in Facebook. So I expect all of you to solve this particular problem of the day and come back once you solve this particular problem of the day, that is rearrange a string. So comment down in this video. After this video is over, comment down in the comments that you have solved the problem of the day, that is rearrange a string for today, and I'll be looking at your comments. Okay, like this problem, as you could see, it was asked in a lot of organizations like LinkedIn, Make My Trip, Ola Cabs, and things like these. So this was a combination of string as well as you can say dynamic programming. So it was a good approach. You can also do it in tabulation method, or you can say like I did it in memorization. You can also do it in bottom up, but top down is, I think, more clear to everybody. So this was the question. And also one more thing that I would like to mention is that we are having a channel that is Code Era, and on this I am taking regularly the Lead Code daily challenges, and we are also posting consistently the editorial videos of various problems. Like you can see this particular problem, word pattern that was asked in Uber, and it was a good string and hashing problem. So you can try out these problems. Like we are daily pushing the Lead Code daily challenges every day on it. So you can consider subscribing this channel as well. You can find it, you can just Google it like Code Era. You can just Google Code Era on YouTube, or you can just find this in the featured channel of this particular channel. So that's it from my side for today. Thanks a lot everyone for joining in, and make sure to comment down once you have solved this particular problem of the day for today, that is rearrange a string. Comment down, come back to this video and comment down that you have solved it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next live.